play. There definitely, it was the match between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor was kind of ruined a little bit by a bunch of snarky fans who wanted to get themselves over at the expense of everyone else, and that is, shame on you guys for being absolute morons. But it was definitely a phenomenal. I'm very happy to say that I spent the vast majority of my Sunday watching professional wrestling, and it worked out. I mean, the big thing is Finn Balor was crowned the first ever WWE Universe Champion, only to have to go off and to relinquish the title last night on Monday Night Raw because of an injury he actually suffered during the title match. So
apparently there was actually a lot of controversy revolved around Brock Lesnar. I haven't heard too much about it. Just little things I've been reading.
They did at the very end of SummerSlam. They went off and they kind of treated the match a little bit like an MMA fight. The match was ended when Brock Lesnar went off and had just beat the holy piss out of Randy Orton and made him start to bleed, and so they stopped the match because he was bleeding. And at the end of it, Shane McMahon, who is the figurehead for the SmackDown brand, came out to check on Randy Orton, and end result, Brock Lesnar gave him the F5. Now, what I thought was funny was that 30 seconds after he had the F5 and Brock Lesnar had walked out of the ring, Shane McMahon sat up. So I'm thinking, okay, if a wrestler had been given the F5, they wouldn't have been able to get up that quick. Why was Shane McMahon allowed to go off and to do that? I know why they did, because they wanted Shane to kind of sit up, to kind of add to the drama as it went off the air. But at the same time, that felt
definitely
like,
very intriguing. Yeah, so definitely a huge weekend for wrestling.
It was. I mean, and that's not including. They had a huge event with Ring of Honor. There was events for the Evolve, Dragon Gate USA, cross promotions. I mean, it was just a phenomenal weekend of professional wrestling. So if you guys are
and not just for the whole wrestling thing, UFC on Saturday was another really huge event.
I'm sorry. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, Samoa Joe versus Nakamura, that was main evented. NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2 was probably going to rival almost anything that was at the UFC event.
I'm sorry, watching McGregor versus Diaz go 5 rounds in a bloody, pretty much take-all match, nothing can rival that. These are two guys that absolutely despised each other leading up into it.
You mean there's two guys that are about as tall as Hornswoggle?
You know what? I don't diss your stuff. You don't diss mine.
Hey, McGregor went off and he dissed my stuff.
Okay.
When he went off and said he could knock out anybody on the
By
WWE
no
roster.
means am I a McGregor fan. I personally believe that Diaz was robbed of his win that night. There was a lot of controversy as far as I'm concerned. I wasn't watching a UFC match that night. I was watching a UFC/Floyd Mayweather fight.
Oh God, Paula, I'm sorry to hear that.
Like McGregor pretty much took every playbook out of Floyd Mayweather's book, and he ran most of the fight just so he can get that extra points at the end of the match because he kept dodging the hits. If McGregor didn't play as a boxer, guarantee the results would have been a lot different.
That kind of reminds me of another fight. When I went up to the UFC 200 with you.
Yes.
There was that one interim championship match that they had there, and I was completely pissed off that the one guy won because all he did was he kind of danced around and occasionally he punched the guy.
And as a huge UFC fan, I get really frustrated when I see that. I was happy that this fight went 5 rounds. I think it was very well worth the $15 million that this guy got paid, yes, for one match, $15 million. I'd like to see the WWE match that one. And, basically, 2 fights now between these two, 1 win each. I'd like to see a third one. Probably won't happen.
Who knows? I mean...
And going back with your WWE, next UFC, September 10th, is actually the debut of CM Punk.
Yeah, and as much as I love Punk, he's going to get his ass kicked.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it, but at the same point, it works, right? It's nice to see a guy do his finally appear in the UFC. maybe for his first and only
It
time.
may be his only fight. Yeah, let's face that. I seriously doubt we're going to see him in more than one matchup here.
Yeah, and then on Saturday during the day, I also a bunch of us spent some time down at Deer Lodge here in Winnipeg for their family day, which was really great. They had some ducks, some goats, some chickens that scared the crap out of me, and a bunch of other things. They had Buzz and Boomer from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers down there. They were out there in their. They had wheelchairs for basketball and all that because of course Special Olympics coming up, so they're definitely promoting all that stuff. So it was an all-around great day. There'll be some great news coming out of that coming up soon as well. Working on a few projects.
Yeah, there's something that coming out of all this where we're trying to kind of put together. We'll give you guys an update once we actually have it confirmed.
But there definitely will be some great events. On our Facebook, we definitely I posted a bunch of pictures up on there. Tag Deer Lodge in it. This is a hospital that has done great for the community and will continue to do great, but they need, more support. They need people to actually recognize them. So, check them out. They do a lot of events. It's worth it.
Absolutely.
So, might as well, pretty much wind this show down. It's been a great show.
It has been. But of course, when we have great topics to go off and talk about, that always helps.
McDonald's robots. You can't get any better than that.
Well, you can't when you throw in a little bit of Stranger Things.
Stranger Things, McDonald's robots,
and
UFC, WWE.
A cat that seems to have invaded our temporary studio.
You know what? This cat is pretty much like the second mascot. But anyway, so we'll do our little plugs.
So you know what, guys? You can follow us on Twitter
at RealCaptFizz. So at RealCaptainFizz.
You can follow this local fellow at That Mask Guy. I was very active during both Chikara's event as well as SummerSlam this weekend. You can follow the show at FizzMash Show. And better yet, why don't you just go to our website, www.fizzmashshow.com. And we haven't been doing too much on there as of late just because we're kind of in the middle of some transitions in our lives at the moment. But there is links to our Twitter accounts as well as to our Facebook on there. And we just go off every once in a while. We just add some things to our Facebook page that we just think amuses ourselves.
Yeah, we'll do little shout outs, let people, give them a chance to, talk to us, give us some feedback. Lots of pictures. Lots of fun little tidbits here and there, especially birthdays for celebrities, especially Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah.
So,
you know what? I guess that kind of wraps up the show.
Pretty much it does. It's been a great show.
And so, guys, you know what? It's time for us to go, but in the meantime and in between time, good night, God bless, and may the Force be with you.
And as always, stay frosty, my people. Good night.